السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم، ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد, my brothers and sisters, there are any sisters here. We are now approaching the beloved end of the month of Ramadan, a truly blessed month in which we cannot even begin to understand the amount of bounties, the amount of mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put in this blessed month. And as we reflect, it's very important that we reflect upon two things for this blessed month. One is how we have spent the first now 18 days of Ramadan, but also how we have spent the past year. Spending time in reflection and contemplation is one of the most important aspects of our ibadat, because it is that reflection that allows us to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and recognize the bounties Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Without this reflection, our prayers, our fasting, our sadaqah, our charity is mere just an action of the body and not of the mind. And it almost turns an action that is supposed to be one that gets us close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more to an cultural celebrations. When we look at how life operates and the things that we do, they fall into two categories. The first being a natural action. Natural action being things like every day that every person will do, no matter whether they're Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, Jewish, it doesn't matter, no religion at all. For example, you work, you drive a car, you shower. All of these actions are natural actions. Doesn't matter if you're a Muslim or not. However, we of course have the ritual actions, which are things like praying for the Jum'ah. These are rituals. It is action that is the sole purpose of it is to bring us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. And we at times can turn an action that could be typically considered to be natural into ritual. For example, before we came here to Jum'ah, we know it's the sunnah of Prophet ﷺ that we bathe. People bathe, that's a natural action. However, now we have taken an action that's normally considered to be natural and turned it into a ritual. And we seek the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for having followed the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. But very similarly, if we're not careful, we can end up turning a ritual into a natural. How is that possible? An example of this is that I know in our communities, especially if we're close-knit communities among the Muslim community, that Ramadan is a time that we come together and we just hang out and spend time with family. And if we do these actions mindlessly, that, we're simply going to spend time with family, well, guess what? A lot of families spend time together. But if we did not recognize and make it within our intention of having this being sort of the rahim, of keeping the family ties, an action that could have very well have been one that is actually a ritual, something that's rewardable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we get nothing for it at all. Why do I mention this? Because as we approach the last 10 days of Ramadan, we have this hyper environment where everyone is packed in the masjid the night of the 27th. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us all to witness the night of power and allow us to reap the benefit of this beloved night. But there is a very dangerous precedence that we have established for ourselves, our families, our community, and that, it's the 27th, how are you not at the masjid? How are you not going to the masjid? Well, today's the 19th, or today's the 18th, tomorrow's the 19th. We're talking about the most blessed days of Ramadan. And the days in which every single night we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will save people from hellfire. But if we reflect and we recognize that we only do this at a certain particular day, it's either we're hoping for some really good luck, which we know we don't believe in luck, we believe in qadar. You're hoping that we just by chance catch a night that there's a lot of reward in it, and we reap the benefit. And if we are at that situation, we're not really doing good business with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are simply, trying to pinpoint something and go and saying this is where I'm going to put all my money. This is where I'm going to put all my eggs. This is certainly something that's incorrect, brothers and sisters. Because if we think about it, our actions and the best of them are those who are done repetitively. And that is what the Prophet ﷺ has taught us. That when we give sadaqah, it is better to continuously give sadaqah than to simply say, I'm going to give this one time, this grand amount, and that's it. This is something that's more rewardable by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So similarly, how are we approaching our worship? Are we hoping that we pass 27th? Are we going to sit purposely set up our time that the 21st, the 23rd, the 25th, the 27th, the 29th, and who am I kidding? The 27th is usually, the 29th is usually forgotten. Once the 27th comes, it seems the messages are getting empty. But why do we have this mindset? Because we have a misunderstanding in our deen. Because we don't understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rahmah. We don't understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's maghfirah. We don't understand His forgiveness. We don't understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي إِنِّي قَرِيبٌ, that if my servant who asks about me, let them know that I am close. Is this on the night of 27th? Sure. But it can be on every other night, including tonight, which is now one of the last 10 nights. How are we spending our time? And it's absolutely fine to say, I'm going to take days off on particular nights because I want to increase in my worship. Alhamdulillah. But what's not okay is that we bank on certain days. And we simply neglect the days of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the best days, the days of the Quran, the days of the charity, the days in which our beloved Prophet was bestowed upon him this mercy to mankind. How are we utilizing these days? And are we taking this Ramadan, this blessed month, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states there is a day in it that's better than 1,000 months? How are we spending those days? Every one of us, our best possible scenario could be that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed upon us a long life in good action. That's the best possible scenario. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a long life in good action. Of course, the opposite of that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us a long life and of very negative or very bad deeds, because then we have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to hold us accountable for it. But the best action, the best thing that we can hope for is that. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows in this blessed month to guarantee each one of us a long life. How? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. It is better than 1,000 months. That's about 83 years. So if we want a long life, why do we want a long life? For what purpose? And if we are truly reflective and we understand, wallahi, there will be no other reason for hoping for a long life other than to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, other than to do good deeds. And so if we know that the purpose of having a long life is to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we should understand very well that in these blessed days, how blessed they are, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is letting us know, I am going to prolong your life. Why? Because you just spent 83 years of ibadah in one night. 83 years in one night. And we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increased folds and folds of our deeds of every action that we take in this blessed month. That's why a lot of us try to set up our zakah in this blessed month. A lot of us try to make sure that we're taking time off, we're taking it off in this blessed month, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies our deeds. And again, why? Because in a sense, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is allowing us to prolong our life by having this blessed month. So are we truly understanding what this means? Do we understand what it means to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gives barakah in your life? Because this is the barakah. This is having the blessed life. This is, in the end, we know that in the day of judgment, that's what matters. It doesn't matter how much money you and I have in this world. It doesn't matter how much people consider you and I to be successful. But at the end of the day, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put us amongst those who are successful. And we increase our chances of this happening when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to have a long life in good. May Allah Ta'ala give all of us a long life and good, and allow us to see many Ramadans fold and fold, and allow us to witness every single night, including the night, the blessed night of Ramadan, of Laylatul Qadr. أقول ما تسمعون استغفر الله إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا وما كنا له مهتدين. My beloved brothers, we are witnessing the final days of this blessed month, and we know the past 17 or 18 days have flew by. And we know the next 10, 12 days are going to fly even faster. This is no doubt what we've witnessed year after year, and year after year, it's like we repeat the same pattern. Oh my God, it's already the 10th night of Ramadan. Oh my God, it's already the 15th night of Ramadan. Oh my God, I can't believe Eid is tomorrow. Right? This is a repetitive pattern that we see. And I think anyone that was looking outside from one community is like, yo, you always say, like, oh, I can't believe this. Well, so why don't you plan better? Why? And the thing is, no matter what, we're always going to say this. Because there's so much barakah in this blessed month. It brings joy to anyone that truly understands. It's not a burden. Right? And sometimes we let people get confused and let them think that it's a burden. Because of our reaction, oh yeah, I'm fasting, it's a long day, I'm tired. So we try to, without directly saying, even though we don't necessarily believe that it's a burden, we allow people to think that it's a burden. And that is wrong from us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us hidayah. Now, on the last thoughts here, the Prophet ﷺ stated, do you know who is the bankrupt one? The one who is bankrupt. And the companion said, who ya Rasulullah? He said, the bankrupt among my ummah is the one who would come on the day of judgment with prayers, with fasting, and zakah. But he had offended one person, he slandered another, he devoured others, well, he shed blood of this person and beat that person. And there's, of course, other narration of this hadith. The relevance of this in this blessed month is we all want our deeds to be accepted. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of our deeds and allow us to make the ones also successful. Each one of us can spend every night on the last 10 nights in prayer and worship with sincerity. With sincerity. And you will know, walking out of this month, that we witnessed Laylatul Qadr. Why? Because I was up every single night. It doesn't matter which night it was. I don't have to guess what night it was. But I know for sure that I've witnessed it. However, wouldn't it be a terrible thing that we arrive on the day of judgment? We know that we witnessed Laylatul Qadr this year and the year before, and if you have lived a long life, you witnessed the Laylatul Qadr, I don't know, for 50 years or 60 years of our lives, and we get there and we are bankrupt. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. So now, we have done over, not the 50 years that we lived, or 60 years of what we lived, we've done 1,000, 2,000 years worth of worship. Sincere worship. But, we seem to forget that our manners, if they don't go along with this, someone else will reap the benefit. We don't recognize that our actions following this blessed month of Ramadan may cause us to have all our deeds taken away. Allahu Akbar. So now we're saying we want to get inside the Qadr. We want to get up and pray. We want to get up and get Qadr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for you and I and allows us to reach this. But then we get to the end and we're still not successful. We really have to reflect. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not make us of those who are bankrupt on the day of judgment. We have to understand and recognize that our time and our ibadat are supposed to influence and impact our everyday lives. For some of us, it may mean that we have to get some of these negative habits that are considered to be by others not negative because we misuse things. So, for example, social media. Social media gets used for a lot of great things. You use it to Quran, you use it to lectures, you can use it for many good things. But is that the case for you and I? And if not, then maybe we need to unadd people, or maybe we need to get rid of it altogether. Right? Maybe our friendship is something that needs to be cut off. Because we know, Prophet ﷺ stated that you are on your friend's religion. If you're consistently hanging out with people, I'm consistently hanging out with people that like to slander people, that like to talk about people. And we don't take any action, we don't say stop, and we don't step back away from that group. Even if our actions are different from their action, now we have been part of this conversation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make us amongst them on the day of judgment. So we have to recognize the beauty and the bounties and all the rewards that we stand to reap in this blessed month. But we also have to make sure we protect our investments. A lot of us have work, alhamdulillah, or businesses, or whatever field that we might be in. And if you notice, even if you have a home, a lot of things that happen in this country is what? Insurance. You have a car, you have insurance. You have a house, you have insurance. Right? Why? Why do people have that? To protect their investments. They don't want one thing to come along the way and take everything that they've worked so hard for. Are we doing that with our ibadat? Are we taking insurance out on the ibadat that we're doing? What does that mean? What does that mean for taking insurance out on ibadat? That means after I have done these ibadat, am I now setting myself up and putting myself in protection so that way these deeds that I've worked so hard for are not taken away and given to others? I know the focus, especially in these 10 nights, is Laylatul Qadr. But what good does it give us when we don't actually reap the benefits of it? We have to take the time to contemplate and reflect. Let us reflect on how we spent the last 20 days or so. Let us reflect how we spent the last year or so. And why? Because if we reflect honestly, wallahi, our ibadat will be improved. Our prayer at night, our khushu' will improve. Why? Because we will realize very quickly how much we're in trouble. We realize very quickly how much sins it is that we have. We realize very quickly who we need to go and make amends with, the ties that we need to regain with our families. We realize very quickly the friendship that we need to add and the friendships that we need to get rid of. So having this time with the Quran, with the prayer, with sadaqah, very important. And obviously your du'as are very important. And actually very important when we're making du'as. Reflect on what du'as we're making. Very important. Why? Because if we find that our du'as are consistently and constantly about things related to this world, then wallahi there's something wrong with our iman. If we are consistently making du'as, and we're not saying, Allahumma rizqni husn al-khitam, oh Allah, give me the best of ending. If we're consistently making dua and say, oh Allah, make the hellfire forbidden for me. If we're consistently making dua and we're not saying, Allahumma rizqni jannat al-firdaus al-a'la, then where are we with our iman? Because our investment is for the hereafter. If we gain some reward, some worldly gain in the process, alhamdulillah. But for that to be the main focus, and for us to not reflect upon that, and recognize that, and seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from it, then know that we are in trouble. Know that we really need to reevaluate ourselves. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect every single one of us, to protect our deeds, to protect our families, to allow us to witness this night of Laylatul Qadr, but also to allow us to make sure that we're taking the due diligence with every night of this blessed Ramadan, allow us to actually be of those who come out of this as better individuals. رب اغفر لي رب اغفر وارحم وانت خير الراحمين. اللهم انا نسالك برحمتك التي وسعت كل شيء ان تعفو عنا. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم تقبل صيامنا. اللهم تقبل صيامنا. اللهم تقبل صيامنا. اللهم اغفر لنا. اللهم اغفر لنا. اللهم اغفر لنا. اللهم اجعلنا من متقبلين في هذه الشهر الكريم يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارحم المسلمين اجمعين يا رب، الاحياء منهم والاموات. اللهم بلغنا ليله القدر. اللهم بلغنا ليله القدر. اللهم بلغنا ليله القدر. اللهم لا تجعلنا من المفلسين في يوم القيامه يا رب العالمين. اللهم لا تجعلنا من المفلسين في يوم القيامه يا رب العالمين. والحمد لله رب العالمين. وقيم الصلاه.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
استقيم. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سمع الله حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A few announcements, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, tonight we will have the youth program, the MMA, tonight at the event room and at the gym. We will have the classes for MMA like last time for the youth, both brothers and sisters as well. We will have it tonight. As well, tonight we will open again for registration for the COVID vaccine. So if you're interested, please come tonight to register. We will have the vaccination tomorrow at the center, but you will have to register tonight. So we know the amount, and the doctor will bring the exact amount, because as you know, these vaccinations has to be held in the fridge. So it's very sensitive transportation. We need to know exactly the amount. So please come tonight and register. As well, tomorrow, inshallah, in Fajr, we will have a guest, Sheikh Abdullah Kamil. Sheikh Abdullah Kamil, inshallah, will be with us tomorrow in Fajr prayer. Please attend. Jazakumullah khairan.